Okay, all you guys that are sitting on the benches, I want you to look around it. If there's an adult standing up, I want you to be a good shipmate and offer them your seat. If there's any adults that are standing up, okay, ladies, you got some benches over here. Benches? You got 3 benches over here for adults.
There's a place.
In Den 1, could Johnny stand up?
Have you guys was that? Little Lord Fauntleroy was a spoiled little boy who later became, because of strange events, later became Captain Kid.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. Okay. Shh. Now, little Lord Fauntleroy, Mom and Dad, was the Lord and Duchess over in England. Now, they were some very, very greedy people, and they loved their luxury. Okay? They always had to stand in the shade. They didn't like to sweat, so their servant had to walk behind them with little fans, because back then they didn't have electricity. And you'd better not be the servant who wasn't fanning them fast enough. You remember yesterday up in the bathroom and everybody, I'm hot, I'm hot. If you'd been little Lord Fauntleroy, you'd have had the service beat. That's just how mean they were. Okay? And everything they wanted, he got. You know, they had the biggest house, they had the nicest yachts, you know, and their servants hated them dearly. Okay? They were very, very, very rude people. Now, one particular Saturday afternoon, the Fauntleroys, the Lord and Duchess and little Leroy, are out on their yacht. And they're up on the deck, and they've got a little screen over there, you know, because they don't want to get the sun in. And they got their servants, and they're fanning them, and they're laying there, you know, in the shade, drinking their lemonade, hollering and screaming at their servants that they might have to break a sweat. Lord help us if we break a sweat, right? Okay. But their servants were so busy attending to them, and the captain of their yacht was so busy attending to them that they didn't see the ship on the horizon until it was too late. They look up and they see the ship coming towards them, and it's a Portuguese trade group. Okay? Portuguese, I don't know how you pronounce it. Trade, which everybody knows was pretty much a cover story for bloodthirsty pirates. So, the ship pulls up, and they ask to come aboard. And Fauntleroy says, no, you have nothing I'd like to trade. And he lays back in his chair, and he goes to sleep, or he tries to. And the next thing you know, no one's fanning him. And he opens his eyes, and there he's surrounded by cutthroat pirates. There's a saber to his throat. The saber is a big sword. What pirates carry. That is their weapon of choice besides a cannon. And he's laying there with a saber to his throat. And he looks around, and his yacht is being, it's being pillaged. It's being plundered. All of his nice things are being carried away. And his mom and dad's got sabers to their throat. And little Lord Fauntleroy comes out of his, out of his cabin and says, what's going on here? And Captain Blood was his name, for the captain of the ship. Reaches over and says, do what? He says, I want to know where my fan is. Captain Blood just backhanded him across the deck. Little old Fauntleroy had never been hit before. Much less anybody ever raised their voice to him. So he lays over and cries. The captain decides, you know what I can do? I can let these people go. Because obviously they're rich. I'll take the kid and hold him for ransom. And not only will I get everything on their yacht, I'll get everything they own. So he takes the kid aboard his ship, steals all the sails on the yacht, and leaves the Lord and Duchess out to drift in the ocean. Okay? In the meantime, back on Captain Blood's ship, little Lord Fauntleroy is sitting there with a great big whelp upside his head. You know? He says, I believe I want somebody to show me to my cabin. Cabin? You don't get no cabin aboard my ship. You know, he says, but it's so hot. I want to go somewhere where it's nice and cool because I've never broke a sweat. Never broke a sweat, Captain Blood said. Fine. We'll send you to the kitchen where it's so hot that you will pray to die. Down the kitchen, little Lord Fauntleroy went. And he was told his job was to do nothing more than to heat water. You know, so that they cook their stew. Because pirates don't wash dishes. Okay, they don't do it. And to cook. So, little Lord Fauntleroy at that particular time was 6 years old. And for one solid year, he never went back up on deck. He was always down at the bottom of the ship, cooking or cleaning or whatever. Until one day he heard a bunch of screaming and hollering above deck. He looks up, and a sailor, one that he'd never noticed before, is coming down there fighting with the cook. They've saber to saber. And what it is, it's the French Navy. Now, if anybody knows, the French don't have too much of a Navy. But what they did happen to catch the pirates off guard that particular day. Okay? So it's hand to hand, hand to hand. Now, little Lord Fauntleroy, he's got a choice to make. He pretty much figures that the pirates are pretty much going to win this fight. But if he helps the French, then the pirates will probably just cut his throat. So he picks up a bowl of hot water and throws it on the French sailor, which knocks him down. And at that particular time, the pirate takes and just hops off his head. Sweet, yeah. Just chops off his head. The French sailor, yeah. And then he goes running back up the stairs. And it's hand to hand, but the pirates are winning, guys. The pirates are winning because they're cutthroats. Okay? They have no loyalty. See, the French, their problem was they're trying to help out, you know, the buddies and everything. Pirates don't care. It's all for one and one for all. The pirates did save the day. They did win the day. Now, little Lord Fauntleroy had pretty much learned a lot of lessons down in the bowels of the ship, right? He had learned pretty much kind of get along. And everybody looked out for themselves. And all that being spoiled, it just pretty much kind of went out the window. Okay? His heart pretty much kind of turned black. You know, he wasn't the little kid. Even though he was 7, he wasn't the little kid that had been kidnapped the year before. So the captain says, you know what, I think I'm going to make you my cabin boy if you're worthy. Well, heck, that means to get up on deck. It means to be able to stay and sleep at the foot of the bed of the captain. Obviously, a whole lot cooler there than what it was down in the kitchen. So he decides to be Captain Blood's cabin boy. Now, part of his chores was taking and sharpening Captain Blood's saber. Okay? His big sword. Okay? He's taking sharpening his saber. And to always polish up his gold doubloons and keeping his big pirate outfit all curried and combed and everything, you know? Basically what it was, kind of like a little butler. Okay? Now, but pirates, mind you, will always be nice to each other until the opportunity arises to better the person. Which means, if Captain Blood was to ever get weak, his own crew would cut his throat. See, that's the way pirates are. Got it?
I see.
Okay, now, little Lord Fauntleroy had pretty much kind of set in being a cabin boy, right? Problem is that Captain Blood was getting kind of old. So the captain decided, you know what, I'll just make him kind of like my little apprentice. I'll start teaching him the ways of being a pirate. So what he did was, anytime that they ever engaged in battle, even though he was 7 or 8 years old, he always let him kind of lead the way. Okay? All right. Now, time passed, and he was about 15 years old. And they're sitting there up in like the Bermuda Triangle. The story just left my head. Anyway, alright guys, they're sailing through the Bermuda Triangle. And what happened is that they look up to the west and they see an English ship coming. Now one of the pirates' favorite tricks was, and I mean it had a whole bunch of flags, was to take and run that particular country flagpole up, and then they'd meet at sea to exchange water or whatever. And then when that, when that ship got so close, what would happen is that the pirate would then expose themselves for what they were, and then they'd kill everybody. So they took and they run the British flag up, and they turned their ship over to where it would go and like intercept this British ship. Okay? So they get over there real close, but what happens is, guys, this happened to be the flagship of the whole British Navy, which means that their sailors were the best of the best. They had more guns, more men, okay, than any ship on the high seas. And guess what happened? They went and they just kicked pirate backside. They blew them out of the water. They sword fired them. They took and just sunk the ship. But you know what? What happened to the kid? Very good story. Very good. You're gonna like this, okay? What happened to the kid is that they realized he was about 15 and a child, and the Navy officer grabbed him. Even though little Lord Pomeroy was still trying to fight him, he put him in a bear hug and wouldn't let him fight anymore, and took him back to the ship, because everybody knows that this child had been kidnapped years ago, and they knew that there was a reward for his safe return. So, the problem is, little Lord Pomeroy, they were already calling him Captain Kid. The pirates are already calling him Captain Kid because Captain Blood wanted him to be his apprentice, successor. So they're all calling him Captain Kid because he's a kid. He's 15 years old. So, the problem is, he's already a pirate. All the goodness and stuff had already been bred out of him. He was nothing but just a cold-hearted pirate.
What happened to Captain Blood?
Captain Blood was, wait a minute, I'm getting there, okay? Wait a minute, I'm getting there, okay? Now, problem is, right? So they take him down, and they're trying to talk to him, going, look, you're safe, you're safe. And he's still trying to fight him. He's trying to bite him. He's trying to kick him, because he's still a pirate, okay? They had to chain him to a post, okay? Now then, down in the very, very, very bottom of the pirate ship, there's still a few pirates holding out. And finally, the naval officers are there, and there's one last door between them and all the rest of the pirates. And they take a great big battering ram, and they're trying to knock the door down. Finally, they open it up, and there is the last three remaining pirates still alive. Captain Blood and two of the crew members. His crew members surrendered almost immediately. Captain Blood, even though he was in his 70s, tried to fight his way, but he was no match for a younger naval officer. They took Captain Blood up to his own deck in chains. And there they asked him, would you like to be beheaded or keel hauled?
What's kill hauled?
Keel hauled is where they would take a man and tie a rope around him and throw him and put weights on his feet and throw him off and set sail. And you would literally drag him on the bottom of the ocean until he drowned. That's keel haul.
I would get my head chopped off.
Beheaded is where they cut off their head.
Not Captain Blood. He was thinking, I would rather die outside of your eyesight than let you have the glory of seeing me killed in front of your eyes. He looked at him and said, I want to be keel hauled. And that's exactly what they did. They keel hauled. Now, remember where Captain Kid is. He's in the bottom of the ship, chained up. The ship turns to England. It gets to England, and they send the message to the Pomeroy. Your boy has been found. We have him. He is safe. Well, they wait till cooler weather because they can't travel in the heat, right? And go down to the coast, and there, in a stockade, which is a jail, is their 15-year-old son that they haven't seen in all these years. And they're thinking, well, you know what? We'll just take him home, and we'll put him in school, and everything will be fine. Wrong. He's a pirate. Once a pirate, always a pirate. Well, they send him to school. He goes to school, and there it is. Right up there on the flagpole is the British flag. I'm a pirate. I got to fly the Jolly Roger. So he waits to recess. TJ look. He goes over, takes down the Union Jack, which is the British flag, puts up the Jolly Roger. What do you think happens to him? Oh, he gets in all kinds of trouble. Well, what would happen to you if you run a flagpole you weren't supposed to at school? What would happen to you? What would happen to you?
ISS.
Yeah. Yep, all kinds of trouble. Now, the problem is, right, they sit down to eat, all the services there. The pirates sit down and eat with knives and forks and stuff? No. They reach over and just get a big old handful. Food and stuff going everywhere. They do not recognize this child that the British Navy brought back to them. But they're trying. They finally wind up, guys, having to literally have him to sit on his hands. Or you know what? They had to put him in handcuffs because he's a pirate. Once a pirate, always a pirate. And they always noticed that he'd always look towards the ocean. Always. One morning they woke up and he was gone. His window had broke. He had tied the bed sheets down from his window. He tied them down. One of the horses is missing out of the stable. And his father's father, which means his great-great-grandfather's saber, was missing. Okay? They went down there to the ocean, and there was a small, very, very small sailboat missing. Okay? The window of the chandler's office. The chandler's office is like a big store where you buy supplies for the sea. Was, you know, the window was broken. Something just stung me. And there was provisions, food and stuff gone. Okay? Everybody figured that he had perished in the ocean. The family took and bought an empty casket and buried it. They figured that this 15-year-old son was never going to make it on the ocean. Okay? 15. 10 years later, as the British Navy was trying to take the Atlantic Ocean for Britain and all the islands and stuff, word came back of a very, very young pirate captain who was taking over every pirate ship. Every British ship that he could lay his hands on, and was raising a mighty, mighty pirate navy. Okay? The problem is also the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. That if you sailed a ship into the Bermuda Triangle, that ship would be lost. And even today, we hear about the Bermuda Triangle. Well, I'm here to tell you, it very well could be there's something there, but I happen to know that Captain Kid headquarters was in the Bermuda Triangle. So you never know. You guys like that story? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got a question? Yeah. You know them cannons will reach way on up there, man. What time we got, Jerry?
You're okay.
How much time we got? We're okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, guys. Jerry, you ready? Come on. He did. Ours are slick. How do we know how he got out? He was the only person in the bedroom. How do we know how he got out? Yes. The Bermuda Triangle? You could make it, or you might have to talk to the kid. Captain Kid. Yes.
Is he still alive?
Really? Cool. Yes.
What if the thing goes down at the triangle and then comes back up and then eventually all
You might, well, you know what?